Now everything is easy 'cause of you.
Well, hi there. This is Home Wizards. We love to help you improve your home, improve your life. I'm Cindy Dole.
And I'm Eric Stromer, and I just chewed a little bit of a muffin, got it done in time, so thank goodness.
Yeah. And we're here at the Grove. It's a very special, first of all, it's a spectacular day in Southern California.
I would venture to say it's one of the most glorious days I've ever experienced.
It's almost like Rose Bowl weather. It's
Yep.
like it has that Christmas in the air. Not Christmas, but crispness.
Yeah.
We don't want to fast forward to Christmas yet. We got to get through Thanksgiving Day.
Although
for
the tree has been erected
The tree is up, and
Yep.
you have I think you had Santa's sleigh up there erected over to the side. But
Yep.
we're here at this great event. It's Eat, Drink, and Be Organized. And Curtis Stone, you know, the big chef on TV, and he's such a nice guy. We just talked to him last hour, and
He told me that he would exchange making lunches for my kids.
Yeah. Oh, for
if
you
I would help him build the deck.
Come on, hello.
That's a pretty good deal.
Let's do that.
Yep.
You can do that. We'll
Yeah,
do a
why
little
not?
video on
Yeah.
it. So anyway, here we are at my house in a kitchen project we've been sharing with you over the past several weeks. It's now, let's see, what is this? This is week 7.
Right.
Can you believe it? Week 7, and our kitchen is almost
Here's
done.
why I can't believe it, because it is in fact done. It's fantastic. It's so close and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only is it beautiful, it is it's going to be organized, and it's so much more spacious. We really have what they call the great room, as we bashed out a wall that was there, kind of giving us this kind of suffocated feeling before. And it was an orange kitchen. It was a 1950s with 1970s appliance kitchen, and it was quaint, it was cute, but it's time to move on. And so now we've moved on to this greater space that's going to be a place where Eric says he's comfortable to hang out in.
I will be there pretty much daily.
Because we have places to sit between this peninsula and an island and so forth. But if you were thinking about doing something to your kitchen, because the holidays are upon us and everyone wants to have people over, paint, of course, is going to be the quickest solution, but also it's an essential solution. But what kind of color do you choose? And so I thought we'd talk with Erika Woelfel, who is really a color expert and a designer, and she's seen the transformation of my kitchen. And so, Erika, thanks for being here.
Sure. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Eric.
Hi.
So, Erika, first you saw the pictures. What did you think of the orange kitchen, first of all?
I saw the before. You're right. It was very, very retro.
Yeah.
And I think the transformation is wonderful. It's amazing. It looks like a place that, you'll enjoy spending a good deal of time.
Yeah. And does it feel timeless to you now? Yeah,
it does. I mean, neutrals are those colors that they're really easy to live with, and they will carry you forward for a long time. And you can always accent with spots of little trend color here and there, either in a single place or, scattered throughout the room. So you'll be able to update that easily as well.
Hey, Erika, how do you kind of find trend in color? How do you guys come up with these great ideas, and each season they're different, and where are you finding all this from?
That is a great question. It comes from everywhere. we're looking at fashion, we're looking at what's happening in transportation and automotive. We're looking at food. Of course, we're always looking at what's happening, what's the trendy, hot food item that's going on out there.
You mean like a great entree can influence what color your living room will be at some point?
No, I'm talking more like fresh green colors.
Oh, you mean like asparagus?
Because I was going to say I didn't want to do the meatloaf brown for my living room.
Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you think about red meat or steak or that kind of thing.
Or how about chocolate?
A very hot color. And chocolate.
Yeah.
Of course,
What do you think about that chocolate?
Was it bittersweet?
It's called bitter chocolate.
Bitter chocolate is beautiful.
Yeah.
Very relaxed. Not too dark, not too light.
But comforting, doesn't it feel?
Perfect in between brown. Yeah.
So you are traveling all over in search of what turns us on, basically, right? In terms of in culture, in society.
In terms of culture, entertainment, we're just trying to anticipate what it is people will want, next year, the coming year, so we can be ready with those color palettes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, Erika, what's this Pantone? Tell us about that. What is that? That seems to be the oracle of color.
Well, Pantone is a printing specifying system, and they started out specifying colors for inks, like for packaging or for graphic design. And they have a well-known trend guru who works for them, and she's been in the business for many years and has been watching trends for a long, long time. So they're a very well-known, well-established voice and authority, and now they're getting into other products. They're getting into home decor products. Yeah, you'll start hearing the name Pantone more and more.
Because they came out with, well, every year they come out with what they say is the color of the year. And this past year it was this
Right.
honeysuckle, right?
Honeysuckle. It was kind of like that.
Pinkish, reddish.
Pinkish. It was kind of between pink and orange.
Uh-huh.
Kind of a watermelon-y color.
I didn't put that in my home. Did you put that in your home?
I haven't put that. I have a hard time wearing that color, so
Yeah.
I have a hard time thinking about it in my
You know,
own home.
coincidentally, I have shoes that color right now.
And they're gorgeous.
They're gorgeous.
Do you really?
No, kidding.
No, but Erika, you work on behalf of Bear Paint, so you guys come up with your own color forecasting. And what are you guys seeing as you mentioned food and culture and cars and so forth, but what are we going to be clinging to for 2012 to feel great with paint?
Well, we are featuring for 2012 a new kitchen, and you can see this either online on the bear.com website on our trend feature, or you can go to the store and pick up our brochure, and you will see a kitchen that's featuring very beautiful light pastel colors. So if we think about the food trend and we think about how popular baking is, and we think about all the different things that we can do with frosting, you know, on a cake or on cookies or on specialty treats. So these are they're confectionery colors. We have light pinks. We have in our kitchen a very light green called minty frosting. We're featuring a light violet, a light purple, and we're calling it violet water.
Does that take us back to the 40s almost?
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit nostalgic, I would say, 40s, 50s.
It kind of feels like that, yeah, but not too frou-frou.
They're not too frou-frou. We were trying to, bring in kind of a modern sensibility there. Combined with a little bit of that traditionalism, a little bit of retro. It's definitely a fusion style.
Oh, you got to have the fusion. If it's not Asian fusion, it's color fusion.
It's color fusion.
This is it's a perfect example of what you're talking about, where trends are influenced by things like cars or food. I mean, cupcakes have become such a huge business.
Yeah.
I know,
So
you go to Starbucks and you have those little mini desserts,
that's right?
Yeah,
So
they
the
tell you
colors
exactly.
are based off of these icing scenarios,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So you'll see that featured in our new 2012 trend brochure.
And that in the pinks and the pastels, that's kind of paired with some of these earthy tones too. Are we wanting to feel down to earth? I mean, the whole message this past year was that, we're kind of feeling in the dumps about the economy. So for 2000,
so these really feel optimistic.
Uh-huh.
They're fun. They're youthful. They do feel much more cheerful, I think. But we're still using neutrals, to your point.
To be grounded,
Neutrals
right?
are grounded. They'll take us through, and we're spending a lot of time at home. Like you said too, the kitchen is just that hub of activity. I call it kind of the community center of the home, because you're cooking, your kids are doing homework. On the countertop, you're entertaining. Your kitchen turns into a wine bar and turns into a coffee shop. So it has to do a lot of different things, and you want to work with colors that you're going to feel good living in.
Hey, what about for the exterior of the house? What colors are you looking at that seem to be popular now?
Well, we see, again, it's the neutrals, and it depends on your geography and your region and what what your surroundings look like. But again, lighter neutrals, we're seeing multi-colors being used, more accent colors on doorways, on shutters, calling out architectural details. So color combinations are really important. 3 colors, even up to 5 colors sometimes. People are really getting experimental on the outside of their house. So you'll see bright reds, purple accents even are coming about, dark blues, dark greens as well.
What about and grays? Gray has been, in fact, before we chose our taupe, we have studio taupe and bitter chocolate as our 2 main colors of paint color in the kitchen, and both are made by Bear. We were really also looking at the charcoal family. How is that trending for 2012?
So charcoal, it's really, really interesting, because we're seeing black and then that almost black, that dark charcoal. And we have a color called intellectual in our ultra line that is super, super popular.
Almost velvety, huh?
Very sophisticated, very stately, and we see it on background walls, but we also see it painted on kitchen cabinetry. And when you combine
that'd
that
be beautiful.
It's beautiful, with a dusky aqua blue, or
Ooh.
even kind of a nice harvest gold, a little bit more on the green side. It's really, really pretty.
So let me tell you this. I'm looking now for furniture and pillows and blankets and accents, because I want to have some pop to go with this taupe that's now the main wall color, but then we also have the signature splash wall in that bitter chocolate that also goes into the dining room. What would you suggest? I was leaning toward maybe a silver blue, or maybe some kind of a red or maroon?
Silver blue or red, something like chipotle paste, darker burgundies, or even think about dark green if you like green. That's another one of our colors that we're kind of keeping an eye on for next year and the year after.
Yeah.
Greens are really going to make an impact.
That's what we've been hearing, and even like a blue-green, silver blue-green.
What's a good example of that color in your paint line?
A good example of that blue-green is going to be called Empress Teal.
Ooh, that sounds pretty.
And that's not out yet?
That's actually right now available in the Premium Plus line.
Okay. I'm going to look at that one.
When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about paint color and options and how you not only extend the paint color that you have in your kitchen or whatever room you're working on, but how to make it flow throughout your house.
And I want to know what color Erika's interior of her home is, so that's what we're going to find out.
She's going to tell us. I'm sure she will. You're listening to Home Wizards. Eric Stromer and Cindy Dole are here. We're right in the heart of the Grove. It's a glorious, sunny, beautiful, comfortable day, and if you're out and about, please come by and say hi. We're going to be here for a couple more hours. Curtis Stone is doing cooking demonstrations right across from us. This is the Eat, Drink, and Be Organized event brought to you by Marilat Cabinetry. We're back in a flash on KFWB News Talk 980.
When you think of me, I see the color of love when I'm thinking of you.
In a world full of people, you can
I'm waiting for the punchline. Hang on a second.
Dun,
dun, here comes. This is Glee, you know. Da 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 da.
But I see your true
See, don't you feel good already?
No,
now you feel it.
Yeah, I feel it.
Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, we're feeling it. Home Wizards here, where we love to help you, well, just feel better about the place you call home. Improve your home, improve your life. We're at the Grove. And who isn't? It's a big crowd here on this sunny, fresh day.
Retail is alive and well, apparently. Look at this.
That's encouraging.
Right?
This is called Eat, Drink, and Be Organized, a special event that's presented by Marilat Cabinetry. And Curtis Stone, you know him on TV, and he's here whipping up and cooking up a storm, so you can see him. He's here till 5. And we're here, and we're talking about things you can do to get your home ready for the holidays, and one of them is always paint. And specifically in our kitchen, it's so exciting to take a change, and to make a change in color anywhere is great. You know, whether it's what you wear, right, or what you're driving.
And you know, painting for $35 around a gallon, you can completely transform the look and feel of a room in one day. So it's a great option to kind of do an inexpensive remodel.
With us to talk about paint color and choices is Erika Woelfel. She is a color expert and designer with Behr Paint. And Erika, thanks for hanging out with us.
Absolutely.
So Erika, before we changed our previous room, our previous room color, I should say, because we lost the orange just through demolition. We didn't have to paint over orange, but we did have to paint over burgundy. It was a kind of a Merlot, and I love that Merlot color, but I think I'm loving the Studio Taupe and the bitter chocolate more. But we used this Kills product that you guys have to kind of neutralize that maroon, right?
Yes, it took it down. It was just easier to paint over when you put the primer down on that dark red.
Yeah, my husband and I did it. We painted.
By the way, I've been using Kills for hundreds of years. I used to paint houses for a living, and this stuff, you can paint over glass and then put a finish coat, and it'll stick.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Fix,
I love it. Great primer.
So it takes it back to neutral, which is cool, especially if you had a bold color before, and you're going to now maybe do like you're suggesting, some of these pastel colors for 2012. That seems to be the way to go. Huh?
Optimistic, that's right.
Wait, can I just ask Erika, what color is your living room right now? What are you doing?
We're back to that question.
Yeah.
I have a lot of sunlight coming into my living room, and so I try to cool it down, tone it down with a color we call Carib. And it's actually a
blue?
dark turquoise blue.
Ooh, that sounds rich.
Very, very
So you're
exotic.
actually being influenced and impacted by what kind of light comes in your home, and that's how you choose your color?
It's warm enough in there already, so I'm trying to cool it down.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought of choosing a color based on climate.
But my other fun color is in the dining room, and it's kind of dining room going into a hallway, and it's retro avocado.
Ooh.
And people always cringe when they hear
I think that looks
avocado.
pretty with that turquoisey blue with the Carib.
It's a really strong contrast, but I also have a lot of white on the walls for the artwork, so
feels very
they balance each
Caribbean.
other out.
Yeah.
So Erika, always too, when you're going from room to room and you have different colors, are you always referencing the other one and making sure that palette all works together?
Sometimes. I try to. I do not shy away from colors, so it's really bold.
Well,
And
we
that-
have red in our hallway. I mean, I'm not shy. I don't think either of us, Eric. You're not shy about
no
color.
way. I
Yeah?
got a Cheeto color in my
Bring
kitchen.
it on.
Yeah.
It is fun, though, and if you don't like it, you can always change it later. But
Right.
it is refreshing, though, when you've made one of those choices that you want it to stick around for a while, too. You know, it
That's
becomes
right.
that classic choice.
And a neutral will do that. I like to tell people who are a little bit more cautious, maybe not going to go way out there with their color, stick to neutrals in the main rooms, and then in the hallways or in a guest room or a guest bathroom, even a closet, put your bright, bold colors in there. It makes it a little bit easier to live with, and you can still have fun.
And it's funny, too, how I think bold or rich, deep colors, you would logically think that it's going to make the room feel smaller and confined and claustrophobic. But I have this one small bathroom that's kind of a deep purple. It feels great. It feels very comforting. And again, now with this bitter chocolate, it doesn't feel like you're trapped at all. So what's with
No.
that?
No. Well, it's a visual. It creates visual interest, and so, yeah, it makes you feel great when you see it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Erica, for black and white photographs, what colors do you like on the walls to display
black?
them? I mean, yeah.
To display,
Yeah.
you can do anything. A really terrific red really makes those colors pop. Gold makes them pop as well, kind of the more muted gold. So a color like Kenya in the Bear line. You can do just about anything.
Hey, who names the paint, by the way? I always wondered because they're so creative, all the names.
That's our job. That's what we do here in color marketing.
Is
We have a
there
team-
an Eric?
yeah.
There's not an Eric Stromer color, is there?
Do you want there to be?
Yeah, duh.
Pick your color. Yeah, we have a lot of fun. The whole company gets involved. People submit their lists, and we go through. Yeah, I think a color name helps sell the color, and just helps tell a little bit of a story.
You can almost smell it or taste it if the name is right.
Yeah,
It activates the senses, don't
Or
you
you
think?
can visualize it.
Yeah.
If it refers to the sea or the ocean or some natural setting or a landmark. Absolutely.
So if someone is right now living in a house, living in an apartment that's mainly white or mainly just, very shy colors, how would you encourage someone, and with what color, to take that first risk?
Well, first of all, you wouldn't need to do the whole room. If you lived in an apartment complex, you could just do a feature wall or an accent wall, behind a piece of furniture to showcase some artwork, and look through your wardrobe. What colors do you like to wear? More than likely, if it's a color that you like to wear, it might be a color that you like to use in your room. So if you like to wear red, you have red scarves or red accents or red shoes, try a red. If you're a navy blue type of person, put a navy blue on the background wall. Yeah, that's the first way to start experimenting, I think, with color. That makes it a little bit easier to do.
And then what finishes do you like for the kitchen and bath?
Oh, I love the mix of, especially in the kitchen, I love the organic feel of, stone countertops and the wood cabinetry mixed with sleek stainless steel, high-tech appliances. That's really beautiful.
And then so in terms of paint product, would it be a semi-gloss or a flat or
Yeah,
matte? What would you
especially
do?
for kitchen and bath, we recommend doing something that's a little bit higher sheen, like a semi-gloss, or not a semi-gloss necessarily, but a satin or an eggshell, and to kind of avoid the matte, because something with higher sheen is just easier for cleanup.
Right.
That's what we have, eggshell.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, you'll do good.
Yeah, I'm loving that. And in terms of cleaning the walls, that's pretty simple, isn't it, if something happens?
Oh, yeah. Our products are really, really durable, and they hold up well. Yes.
Cool. Now, when we were painting, Bill and I, we noticed, too, that we weren't smelling paint as much. Talk about how the whole process of how you're making paint today in terms of low VOC, it just doesn't seem like it's as chemical-y.
Yes, we're working really hard, again, at bringing down those VOCs. We're featuring low VOC products at the Bear Color Solution Center at the Home Depot, and you will find them there. Right. The last bucket of paint that I just opened here in the studio, no one could tell I had anything open. We were painting a wall, and they're like, wow, you painted? I didn't smell anything.
And Eric, you've seen, you've smelled some really bad paint, haven't you?
Yeah, I've spent years, spraying and doing paint jobs
And it
where
knocks you out.
you walk out and you kind of feel like you're from the deep south.
It kind of makes you feel nauseous, doesn't it?
You feel like you're missing out on something.
Yep, you're missing teeth, and you live in a trailer. It's that feeling. Yeah.
Well, the other thing, too, that you guys provide is that there's professionals that can help us if you aren't a do-it-yourselfer. And even if you are, I mean, I'm a real stickler for those details, those edges, and what you want it to be completely tight when you're going from one color on one wall to the accent wall, and you want it to not look like there's some bleed. And if you aren't a precise person, you can go to Home Depot and get a Behr Pro professional to help you.
That's right. Yes, we do have professional painters who have the techniques and the tricks for application that make the job look amazing when they're done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you always can spot that sloppy job, can't you?
Yeah. When you can, if
It's
you don't see a
terrible.
clean line, it makes me crazy. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you have the great pros
Yeah.
working for you.
And the molding, you want the molding to pop, right?
Yeah.
Are you a fan of like white molding, cream molding, or what do you suggest in terms of contrast with the different colors that you're choosing?
Well, I love white trim. I think white, is really clean and it's just crisp, makes a nice, definite line. Sometimes with darker colors, you may want to go with a little bit more of an off-white. So say you're doing a darker red, you go with something that's a little bit creamier, not quite as pure. But I do tend to favor lighter versus darker trim.
And for our entranceway, our designer suggested this, and I love, we have that studio taupe in full color saturation in the kitchen, but in the entrance, when you first walk in the house, it's cut 50%. And that makes it really nice as a transition. So it's a little lighter, but it welcomes you in. You can very subtly see that kind of emphasis as it's gaining saturation. Do you like that idea, Erika?
I do.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, you like it,
Yeah,
Eric?
I as well. When we have people named Eric and Erika, it's hard to distinguish.
Eric?
I know.
That's your pet name for me, by the way. That's what's so strange.
Well, Erika Woelfel, thanks for giving us some pointers on paint, and you got to come over and see the kitchen firsthand.
I would love
okay?
to see it firsthand.
You got it. And be sure to check out Behr.com, and they have a great app, by the way, you can use on your iPhone, and you can take pictures of
Color
things.
Smart app, yeah.
Yeah, it's really helpful. It gives you can download it for free. So thank you, Erika, and we will talk to you more in the near future. Up next,
great app.
you got it. Vintage collectibles. Do you like to collect things?
Boy, I sure do. I do.
How about cap guns or things from the 40s and the 50s? Real vintage stuff. It's here at the Grove, and we're going to talk with a guy who is a born collector on how you can display and collect wonderful things. Home Wizards, Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole. We're live at the Grove, the Eat, Drink, and Be Organized event presented by Marilat Cabinetry. Curtis Stone is here, and so are we. Back in a flash on KFWB News Talk 980.
But I do know that I love